Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective. Happy Thursday. You are here where you get a little bit of something and a whole lot of everything. I missed my tagline this morning. My goodness. What's wrong with me? So anyways, we're on day number 24 of body mindfulness. I have a special Moonology card for the end, but I know that's not for everybody, so I decided to start saving those for the end, and I'll just jump right into body mindfulness. So far in the last couple of shows, we've done, let's see, reflect, patience, and now we're going to do reclaim. Today's topic for day number 24 is reclaim. Now, in regards to this, when we reflect, we're reflecting on the things that work for us, the things that don't. We are talking about, without a reflective practice, we end up repeating the same patterns over and over again, unable to reach our potential. And then with patience, you must be patient and trust divine timing. Humans are anxious creatures. We know what we want and we want it now, but we are also working in collaboration with the divine or your higher power, which means that I lost my place. This is going to be one of those days, which means that sometimes we have to wait longer than we would like. And that's true. But those two things bring up a very important thing. What happens after you reflect? What happens after you have that patience? You want to reclaim yourself. You want to reclaim what you were created to be, created to do. So let's jump right in. Reclaim. Reclaim is the card for today. You were born as a perfectly imperfect human with gifts, talents, medicine, wisdom, and knowing. Growing up in a culture that does not nurture these gifts creates misalignment with our highest truth. Reclamation can be a lifetime process, as it is continually awakening to ancient medicine we knew in other lifetimes and soul wisdom. While there is no rule book or map for this journey, this card calls your attention to what stirs deep inside your soul memory. We are often drawn to places, people, experiences, music, etc. that we know on a cellular level, but our biological mind may not understand why. Follow your intuition, trust that desire, and follow it. Reclaim your knowing, your power, your medicine, and your healing. Enjoy the mystery and the stories unfolding. So, part of the thing about reclaiming ourselves, right, is just really kind of honoring and supporting what we love. A lot of times we feel like we need to morph into somebody different, right? For someone to notice us, for someone to see us, for our friends to like us. We might decide, oh, well, I love your music, when maybe you really don't. You go home and you listen to something completely different because you don't want to be judged by it. But you know what? Look at the people, just using music as an example. Look at the people who love music and they don't care who knows. I love all kinds of music. To be honest with you, I sometimes get teased because some of my favorite music are actually movie soundtracks. They help me write, they help me think, they help me kind of get back into my head, and not in a good way. A lot of times I'm trying to get out of my head, but I mean, get back into my center is what I should say. When I'm in an angry mood, I'll put on some like heavy metal music or glam rock, just something like that, something that's got just like a lot of drum banging, right? Sometimes I'll even listen to drums, like tribal drums. So, it's what helps us center. It's what helps bring us back to center. It's the things that we love. If you're with somebody and they love a certain type of music, you don't have to pretend to like it if you don't like it, but, give them their space because that's their thing. But, don't feel like you can't put on your own stuff. It's just like movies. Older sibling and I, we have very different tastes in movies. And yet, let me put it this way. I like a lot of the movies she likes. She's not a nerd or a geek or whatever you want to call it in any stretch of the imagination. She's not a comic book movie fan. She's not a sci-fi fan. So, a lot of times it's like, because we are roommates, it's like a lot of times I have to wait for her to go up to her room so I can watch the stuff I want to watch. But, or sometimes I'll wake up really early and I'll sneak out of my room and I'll sneak downstairs and watch stuff I want to watch until she wakes up on her own. But, I know it's so clandestine, but not really. But no, seriously though, it doesn't matter because there are things that we do connect with. There are things that we both like, and it just is what it is, right? I mean, she thought Star Wars was boring. I know other people who think Star Wars is boring. I love Star Wars, but that's not what defines a relationship. That's not what defines you. These are just things that you love, things that you like. Now, on a bigger level. On a much bigger level, this is kind of setting the foundation for where I want to go with this. You were born, I'm going to break this down, okay? You were born as a perfectly imperfect human with gifts, talents, medicine, wisdom, and knowing. Growing up in a culture that does not nurture these gifts creates misalignment with our highest truth. Now, I gotta step around this carefully because I don't want to offend anybody. It is not my intention to offend anybody. I have higher powers. I have a table full of higher powers. I do believe in God, which I know a lot of people don't. I do believe in Jesus, which I know a lot of people don't. So, but I also have other deities at my table. So I'm a polytheist. Excuse me. I had a protein shake this morning. So it was like, strawberries. Oh, strawberries and banana. It was so good. But a polytheist is somebody who believes in more than one God. Okay. And here's the thing. Whenever I try to put that on Facebook, now mind you, 99.9% of the people on Facebook are all people I know very well. That 1% is usually a friend of a friend or somebody who's followed me because, I don't know, for one reason or another, or friended me that is also still a friend of a friend. So, so they don't always know me, but there are people, and I'm prefacing it with that because sometimes they'll put things on my page and people feel the need to preach to me. I don't need to be preached at. I grew up a Catholic. I was raised by a hardcore Catholic. Not so hardcore that she was maniacal, but my mom was very devout Catholic. When I was in Catholic school, I went to church every Friday and every Sunday. Well, give or take the family outing on a Sunday, but definitely every Friday I was in school. For 8 years. In kindergarten, we didn't have to go to church because, you're under 5 and you're pretty much squirrely in the seat. But starting from first grade, every Friday, it was school. This whole school attended church at 8:30. So, I was raised in all that. And I don't have a problem with all that. I don't have a problem with people believing what they want to believe. But when you start stepping on other people's beliefs, it makes it hard for them to reclaim who they are. And so because of that, when I was growing up, ghosts were demons, ghosts were the devil, ghosts were bad things, but ghosts aren't, okay? Whether you believe in ghosts or not, I've had my own experiences, which has made me a believer. And I have a gift, so sometimes I'm able to reach the other side. I know it's a story for another day. But I'm not nuts. I'm not crazy. I am, just like it says, I am perfectly imperfect. But I have human gifts. I have talents. I have medicine. I have wisdom. And I have knowing. And all of this was locked up for so long because I was conditioned to believe that that was bad. And the thing is when we're conditioned to believe these things, we don't open our mind to what's possible. We're taught that you can't pray for anything. You have to just be grateful for what you have. Well, I'm pretty sure God wants the best for you. I'm pretty sure any of your higher powers want the best for you. I know a lot of people look at God as mean and nefarious and all this. I don't see him that way, but I know that there are certain books that portray him that way. And, it's just like anybody. We all lose our shit from time to time. But how would you like a book written about you where you're losing your shit every 5 seconds? No. So, to each their own. And, I have nothing against any of my friends or family who are, who are religious. I have nothing against them. Nothing at all. That's their beliefs. The only problem I have is when people start to tread on my beliefs. I don't step on other people's beliefs. Okay? I know it might sound like I am right now, but I'm not. What I'm trying to explain to people is, if someone feels like they're veering onto a path that feels like their own path, let them explore it. That doesn't mean they're going to stray. That doesn't mean they're going to go off and do all kinds of weird stuff. It doesn't mean that they're going to go hold, weird satanic cult kind of things. It's not satanic. Okay. And by the way, the pentagram, if it's right side up, was actually an old Christian symbol before the cross. That's right. So there you have it. When it's my dream thing fell down. This keeps falling down, so I'm gonna have to look that up on why. But yeah, it's. I guess if you turn it upside down, just like if you turn a cross upside down, then it's bad. Okay, I mean, that kind of, that's no bueno for me. Absolutely no bueno. But, there are people out there, like people make fun of pagans, people make fun of witches. Oh, they're evil, they're this, they're that. But a lot of Christian stuff comes from paganism. Easter, Halloween, Christmas. Those were all traditions of the pagans. And it was, they were celebrations, or a time when they got ready for, for winter and they were hunkering down, or for Easter because it's, springing forth new life and it's springing forth, it's blooming, right? And, Halloween, the time when you're the closest you can talk to your dead loved ones through the veil, when the veil's the thinnest, right? All these different things. And we, over time, and and I'm going to say it, the good book is being rewritten and rewritten again. So don't preach to me and don't hold people back. We have to let people reclaim who they are. We have to let people be who they're going to be. I don't need to put something on my page and everybody try to explain it to me like I'm an idiot and don't understand it. Okay, I have a very dark sense of humor sometimes. I have a very sarcastic sense of humor is what I should say. And I don't mean any offense, but it's my page. It's my Facebook page. I always tell people when you post something, I'm sorry for posting this, but it's like, you know what? This is your page. If people can't handle it, they can just scroll by. Okay? Because we need to let people be who they want to be. We need to let people reclaim who they are. I think my mom's biggest fear was that I was going to turn my back on God. Honestly, God is like my warm blanket, okay? He's somebody I'm familiar with. And I don't have a problem with church. I don't have a problem with people going to church. I don't have a problem with what people believe unless they weaponize the Bible. Then I have a problem. All those mean, racist people out there who are just, fire and brimstone for you. And it's just like, stop. If you want to preach what you believe, that's okay. But when it starts to hurt other people, I got a problem with that. I really do. And that's anybody across the board. I don't care what religion you are. I don't care what your beliefs are. When you use something to hurt other people, you're not reclaiming your power. You're weaponizing something. And that's not right. Okay? But I'm kind of going off topic here. But in a way. But I really needed to make that point. Because I want people to understand that, we hold ourselves back because of our beliefs. We hold ourselves back because we're afraid of being judged by other people. We hold ourselves back because, we're afraid what other people might think of us. What you believe in, as long as there's nothing mean about it, as long as there's nothing bad or nefarious about it, when you come from a good place, that's what should matter. When you come from with a good heart or good intentions, that's what should matter. And we hold a lot of people back because we're afraid that if they claim this, we're not going to see them on the other side. Oh, you know what? I promise you're going to see your people. All right? So, again, you were born as perfectly imperfect humans with gifts, talents, medicine, wisdom, and knowing. Growing up in a culture that does not nurture these gifts creates misalignment with our highest truth. How many of us are missing our highest truth? I came into my truth so late in life. I'm not dead yet, so I guess so late in the first half of life. But it's only been within really the last 20 years that I've really, kind of started to look at my gifts that I have. And it's been in the last 10 years, and especially the last 2 to 5 years, where I've really kind of just claimed them. And I thought, gosh, how far would I be if I hadn't been stifled, if I hadn't been made to be afraid of all this stuff? There were shows I couldn't watch before where it's like, now I just watch them. It's like, seriously? Even horror movies. It's like, for a while I had to stop with the horror movies because Sissy passed away and she was the horror movie fan with me. And, now I've started watching some again, and it's just, they make me more mad then they do scare me, because it's like, ooh, that's just bad. It's like naughty, naughty, bad thing, you know? I mean, not trying to scold it, but it's like, oh, then it makes you just want to go, become some kind of spiritual being, go battle something, right? So I know my brain goes, I have a writer's brain. It goes in a lot of different places. So the next line is, reclamation can be a lifetime process, as it is continually awaking to ancient medicine we know in other lifetimes and soul wisdom. When we give ourselves a chance to reclaim what we bring from other lives, we are opening ourselves up to so much knowledge. We are opening ourselves up to a way to heal ourselves, to, look back to our ancestors, to heal ourselves with natural things. Some things can't be healed naturally. You need to go to the doctor for some things, but some people don't. When I was talking about how people can get preachy about religion, right? I actually had somebody tell me once that I said, well, I'm a polytheist, which means I believe in other gods. And I said, because I said there's a lot of other religions in this world that don't follow the word of God. And they're all, well, that's the problem with the world. They're not, they don't follow God. But it's like, wait, what? It's like saying that a Taoist or a Hindu or a Buddha or Buddhist is wrong. I mean, come on. Buddhists are like the most Zen people I've ever met in my life. I mean, how can you say that they're wrong? Their whole mode of whatever, a belief is like peace and just being one and centered with oneself. So that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. I know a lot of religious people that don't preach at me, that we talk, we have good conversations. Sometimes they get a little theological, other times they don't. My father is an agnostic or an atheist, depending on the day. Because of the religion he grew up in. But I tell you, that man knows the Bible front to back and back to front. I mean, he can talk anybody out. And, I think it's slipping away now because it's not that important to him. And I mean, just in the sense that, he's kind of been far removed from that part of his life. But that's sometimes what being overzealous can be, being a religious zealot can be. So, and that's in any religion. I'm not just talking about Christians. I'm talking about any religion. When you're a zealot and you're an extremist or all that, no, you no bueno in my book. Sorry, I'm getting a little political here, and I don't mean to. So, let people be who they want to be. Okay? Just give them some grace. Give them some compassion. Let them find their way. Let them discover what might be. Because like I said, my mom was so worried that I would turn my back on my upbringing, and I didn't. I just incorporated everything else into it. And there's a lot of people on the other side who will sit there and say, you can't be one of us and, believe in God. And yet I found a group where nobody cares. You believe in what you believe in, but we're all spiritual, metaphysical, magical, whatever, in our own ways. We all bring our own brand of us to the table. And that's the kind of people you want to be around, the people that encourage, your knowledge, that encourage you learning about different things, that encourage you to look in and see what you bring to this table, something you may have, if you believe in, reincarnation, something you may have brought from your past lives. I've had a lot, and they've all been very interesting. So the ones I know of, and yeah, I'm not crazy. Okay. And I'm not out of my mind. This is just what happened when I stopped stifling myself, and I opened my mind to the possibility of all different things. So, let's see. Again, reclamation can be a lifetime process, as it is continually awakening to ancient medicine we knew in other lifetimes and soul wisdom. While there is no rule book or map for this journey, this card calls your attention to what stirs deep inside your soul memory. You ever have those dreams where you're just sitting there, or you wake up and you're all, that felt so real? It could be memories. Not the really bad ones. Sometimes the really bad ones, I think we're just being ninjas, right? Just fighting the bad things in our sleep. But no, sometimes I think when we have these memories or these people that we know in our dreams, or maybe it's one person, like maybe you're dreaming about one person, but it doesn't look like them. It could have been them in a past life. Maybe it was both of you in a past life, and that might have been what they look like then. So there's all different kinds of, thoughts and patterns and ideas out there. And we shouldn't just toss them aside. I mean, sometimes you know if it's been inspired by music or a conversation you had that day, or by a TV show or a movie you watched that day, because sometimes those can work their way into our dreams. But sometimes we get inspiration from those exact same things. You know, you might get validation. You're watching TV and maybe you had an epiphany earlier in the day. And then you're watching some random TV show that may have been around for 20 years. I just started watching the Gilmore Girls about a month ago. And there are so many things in there that I feel so validated. And this show took place 20 years ago. Like, literally took place 20 years ago. Like, it started 20 years ago. So, you know, so yeah, there's just validation, epiphanies, all kinds of things. Messages, they can come through anything. They can come through TV, music, books, magazines, skywriting. You know, they could come, like yesterday, very interesting. My beliefs 30 years ago would not have, they would just been like, oh, that's a neat coincidence. I was helping a little praying mantis yesterday, the little ninjas, like legit ninjas or Zen warriors of the bug world. And he was in my wheel well, and I didn't want him to get run over. I didn't want him to go flying off and get squished. So I sucked up my courage and I picked the little guy up and I put him on the fence. But then I realized when I went, did my errand, came back, and I thought, I saw him kind of moving into the shade. I'm like, oh, so I Googled really quick in the car, can they be in direct sunlight? No, because they overheat. That's why he was, because I thought, well, he was in the shade. Why did I put him in the sun? But they like to do flips. Okay. Like, seriously, they are ninjas. So I grabbed him and well, not grabbed him, but I picked him up. I put him over on my fence because my fence is in the shade. But then all of a sudden, he didn't go on the fence, so he jumped onto me. So I have to take a deep breath so I don't panic because this thing is now crawling into my hair. And then I couldn't find him, and I'm like, well, I can't bring him in the house because he'll become cat toy. So I was looking around, and then I went back to the car because I thought I forgot my phone. And I looked in the window, there was no bug there. Then all of a sudden I see a dragon. I'm like, well, where did he go? Where is he? You know, I didn't want to drop him in the grass so somebody else steps on him. I was trying to save his life. And so then I see a dragonfly, and this dragonfly starts hovering over this bush. So I thought, oh, so dragonflies for me is a symbol of my mother. So I thought, oh, I'm going to go check over there. And sure enough, there he was, right there in the shade. Just, you know, being chill praying mantis guy. So, you know, anyways, that's my side story. You know what? This is what I mean. You get a little bit of something and a whole lot of everything, because I am all over on this subject. And I do apologize if I offended anyone, because that's not my intention. Like I said, I am for everybody and their beliefs, unless you weaponize your beliefs, because then I don't think that serves anybody. You know, that's just serving your own will. And, you know, I don't promote hate. I prefer people to be peaceful and love one another. And, you know, and that goes for anybody. You know, it's like with body mindfulness, right? Thick or thin, body negativity doesn't care. Just like people negativity, it doesn't care. It doesn't care what you believe in. It doesn't care, you know, how you live your life. If people are going to be negative, they're going to be negative. And, you know, what are you going to do about that? Except live your own truth. And that's what we're talking about now. So there is no rule book for any of this. And this card is asking you to really kind of go deep. What stirs your soul? Is there something that, you know, you're interested in, but you're afraid because you don't want to be judged? Is there something that you may need to do in life, but you don't want to because you're afraid to be judged? We spend too much time thinking and worrying about what other people are thinking. One of the best phrases I absolutely love, 100% is my favorite, is something older sibling taught me some time ago. What other people think of you is none of your business. What other people think of you is none of your business. You know, some people like to put on blast what they're into. Other people don't, and that's okay. And if someone's saying, well, you're not blah, blah, blah because you don't talk about it, it's like, and? It doesn't mean I don't believe in it. It just means I'm not going to put it on blast because, you know, maybe I'm not comfortable doing it, or maybe, you know, you don't feel the need or don't find it necessary. So you just kind of do your own thing, and that's okay. All right. So this journey card. Oh, wait. No. Okay. We are often drawn to places, people, experiences, music, etc. that we know on a cellular level, but our biological mind may not understand why. So, you know, They're like, for me, London felt like a very, very, like my soul belonged there. And I have to say, of all the lives I know of, like at least 3 or 4 of them were in England. So that made a lot of sense to me. And I know not everybody believes in reincarnation, but from the regression stuff I've done, several of them have been in England, and so it made sense to me why I just felt so comfortable when I was there, when I was visiting. There are other places, like I feel comfortable in Hawaii. I love California. I feel very comfortable here, and I wouldn't be surprised if I've had a life in the past here. But yeah, that was, my soul felt at home there. It felt like it belonged there. And so, that's a place that we think about. It's but different things that we're drawn to, and we don't know why. And it is on a cellular level. And when they say a cellular level, they mean deeply ingrained in you. Like maybe you, like for me, right? Maybe you grew up a Catholic, all right, and you walk into maybe a Jewish temple, or a mosque, or a Buddhist temple, and maybe you feel right at home there, and you're like, wow. Maybe you were just curious, right? You just wanted to see inside, but then you get inside and something just stirs within you. Something feels right about that in you, and you're like, ooh, and you don't understand why. And maybe it's because maybe you were one of these things or one of these people in your past life. Maybe this was something that you were really in tune to. And so it helps us open up. The one thing, I guess I'll be honest with you. I do not have a problem with religion. I think religion can be very, very well done when structured correctly, and like I said, not weaponized, because it does bring people together. It helps you feel included. It helps you feel like you belong to something. It's community, right? And it's people being in service of other people. And when you see the religions intersect, and they're so beautifully intersecting, or they're intersecting so beautifully together, you can see this. There is a reclamation there. There's a reclamation of people just bonding over something. Even if their beliefs are different, they're bonding over the kindness and the goodwill and the community service that one another provides. I mean, I have friends of all different religions, and I sometimes I love sitting down talking with them, because there's so many different perspectives, and it's so wonderful to hear these different perspectives. So I know I keep going through that, and I think I feel a little bad and guilty, because if I came off harsh, I didn't mean to, because like I said, I don't care what you believe. I think part of me just gets a little defensive still, because I have been kind of raked over the coals for my own beliefs. And that doesn't feel good. That doesn't feel good, because I'm not going to change anymore for anybody. I am who I am. I grew up in a mixed household, in the sense that, well, not only a half-breed, but I grew up in a house with a devout Catholic and an atheist. So there's a lot of things that I learned to question over time. And it wasn't an atheist who grew up that way. It was an atheist who became an atheist because of, his own traumatizing experience in that. So anyways, this is going so sideways, and I absolutely do not mean for it to, so I apologize. So I'm going to read this one more time. All right, because I do feel like I'm missing the point here. You were born as a perfectly imperfect human with gifts, talents, medicine, wisdom, and knowing. Growing up in a culture that does not nurture these gifts creates misalignment with our highest truth. Reclamation can be a lifetime process, as it is continually awakening to ancient medicine we knew in other lifetimes and soul wisdom. While there is no rule book or map for this journey, this card calls your attention to what stirs deep inside your soul memory. We are often drawn to places, people, experiences, music, etc. that we know on a cellular level, but our biological mind may not understand why. Follow your intuition, trust that desire, and follow it. Reclaim your knowing, your power, your medicine, and your healing. Enjoy the mystery and the stories unfolding. Now, since I did go off a little on religion, let me go off on the other side. So there are people who you would consider to be in the magical world. They might identify as witches. They might identify as pagans. They might identify as Wiccan. And believe it or not, they have the same problems over there. People will come in, well, you can't believe in God. You can't believe in God and do magic at the same time. And it's kind of, because I told you, I know people across the board, all right? And I think that's bullshit. I'm sorry, I do. And then, they basically are doing what the people over here are, raking these people over the coal, but these people over here are raking these people over the coals. And somewhere in the middle is everybody else who just says, you know what, I can believe whatever I want to believe. And I'm going to believe whatever I want to believe. So there you have it. So see, it really is a two-sided thing. It really is. I have a friend who said she got into an argument with somebody because they said she couldn't possibly be a witch because she's nothing like the characters in Harry Potter. That's fiction, folks. That's fiction. Okay, fiction. It's like you cannot take, and sure, I'm sure she did her homework on these books. I'm sure she did her homework on what, some people who practice do these, do. But it's like, the one thing about witchcraft, or whatever you want to call it, being magical, being metaphysical, being spiritual, is that it's a very eclectic thing. It is a very eclectic thing. When you pray, that could be considered a spell in other religions. When you cast a spell, that could be considered praying in other religions. When we stop judging each other and we just allow people to be who they are, we can reclaim these parts of us that can really add this light to this world that is so badly needed right now. But we spend so much time telling people how to think, how to live, how to be, how to feel, how to dress, how to wear your hair, how to, do this, that, or the other. Sometimes we're so concerned with status that we forget, who we are. And when we do that, we're eliminating and we're dimming the lights of so many people who are so afraid of upending the system, who are so afraid of upending people they care about, that they just stifle who they are. And this is a part of body mindfulness. And you may be thinking, how? Because you have to reclaim your power. When you're feeling crappy inside, when you're feeling lost inside, if you're an emotional eater like me, that can lead to your eating. That can lead to you hating yourself, because now you don't know where to focus all of this horrible, sad feelings that you're feeling, because now you feel so withdrawn that you're going to start looking at yourself, and you're either going to put yourself down because you couldn't stand up for yourself, or you're going to put yourself down because you're going to believe what other people are saying and that you're a bad person. And you're not a bad person. You are you. And when we learn how to when we learn how to reclaim our soul wisdom, when we learn how to reclaim our knowing, when we learn how to reclaim our gifts, our talents, the medicine within us, the wisdom and the knowing, we can look at ourselves in the mirror. We can be proud. And if that means that, you're sitting there saying, well, maybe I have a gift as a theologian. Maybe I have a gift as, someone who's out there just, trying to help people, but are not tied to anything particularly. You have this wisdom, or you have this knowing that you can share it. Before my mom died, we had a lot of good talks about this kind of stuff. And I told her, I said, you need to stop being so afraid for me, because I know what I'm doing. I know my path, and I know where I'm happy. She was worried that I didn't go to church. And I'm like, you know what? I spend a lot of time talking to my higher power. I do. And a lot of times I ask for wisdom. I ask for guidance. I ask for protection. And, there's just a lot of things because it's ingrained in me. And it is also still something I think I hold on to because it does connect me to my mother. And I don't hold on to it for her. I hold on to it because it's my personal belief. But I have a lot of different beliefs now. I've opened my mind. And that doesn't mean you're going to be like me. That doesn't. I'm just giving you my experience. What I think people need to understand when it comes to reclaiming who we are and how it does fit into body mindfulness is when we reclaim our knowledge from, or who we are. Maybe it's something even in this lifetime. Maybe you need to reclaim who you are in this lifetime. Maybe you had some trauma and you don't know how to move past it, and you've kind of lost yourself. Saying, hey, you know what? I was this amazing, funny, humorous, sarcastic, whatever, bubbly person, and that person seems to have disappeared. So it's about reclaiming that person too. And that for me is the biggest part of this. I have a friend who watches a certain show, and they're like, oh my God, Shelly Bray, this is you. This is so you. This girl is like, she kind of looks like you. She kind of dresses like you. She's funny like you. She's a hugger like you. And, it reminds me of when I first met you and blah, blah, blah. And, my friend Armand, he's funny because I told him, I said, can you remind me about the day that we met? And, he's all, I remember like it was yesterday. This had to be like 30 years ago at least. And I thought, you know what? That was when I was just me. I was learning how to be me. I was coming out of my shell. And somewhere along the line, I lost that. And I realized I do have a personality I can go back to. I do have a being of me that I can go back to. And my friend reminded me of this. And I was so grateful because now it's like, yeah, that's right. I was that person. I was bubbly. I was a little silly. And then people would start saying, you need to start acting your age. You need to start, being an adult. You're not responsible enough. When you act like that, people are going to think you're immature. And it's like, who fucking cares at this point? Excuse me, at this point. I don't. I loved being that person. And I forgot who she was. I literally did. And thank goodness, thank God for having friends, the friends that I have. Thank God for him being like, hey, Armand, I'm going to put you back in Shelly Marie's life. And, you guys are going to talk about how she used to be because she needs to remember. And I do. And it was funny because I had been praying on that. I'd been saying, hey, you know what? Who was I? Do I have a person I can go back to being? And then I remember thinking, it was funny because we talk every so often. We have like epic phone calls. But I remember I was praying and I was just asking, please help me remember who I used to be and who I can, who to uncover this person that's been buried under all of this life stuff. And not a day later, my friend texted me and said, hey, we need to catch up soon. It's been a long time. It's like, okay. And I told him, I said, what we were talking about, dude. Seriously, it's like I literally sent up a prayer and I was just like, God, I said, please help me figure out who I am. And then I said, then you texted me and it's like, hey, let's connect and talk. And I was reminded of all this stuff. So it's not just about me reclaiming who I am. It's about all of us reclaiming who we are, and whether it's somebody that we were in this life or something that we carried through our last life. Maybe you were a shaman in a last life. So again, follow your intuition, trust that desire and follow it. Reclaim your knowing, your power, your medicine, and your healing. Now, when they say medicine is all kinds of things. It's not just the pills that we take, right? Like they'll say, like medicine can be your knowledge. It can be your truth. It could be what you give to the world. You putting out your light is your medicine for this world. You putting out your love or your service to community is putting out your medicine to this world because you're giving it something it needs. You're giving this world something it needs. And like I said, this world is becoming very dark. We need to really kind of put a lot more love and light in this. Yeah, I may sound like a flower child, but I don't care. They had the right idea. They just didn't last that long. But they did. They had the right idea. And I hate to break it to you guys, though. Free love did not start in the 1960s. All right. You can go back to Lord Byron and Percy Shelley and you will find that they were into free love. So, and that's what, the 19th century. So, sorry. But it does make it makes its rounds. It makes its rounds. And, at some point people are gonna understand. I'm not a free love person. I am a very monogamous person. But you know what? To each their own. Right? To each their own. But we can put love into this world. We can put a lot of beauty and amazingness and kindness and all this stuff into this world. And it doesn't matter if you're religious. It doesn't matter if you're not. Let's come together as a group and see what we can do together, to help this world grow into a better place, to find a way to sit at the same table without needing to fight about something. I mean, no matter how many households I've ever been to with friends and stuff, there were always generally two things that never get talked about at the family table: politics and religion, unless you're all on the same page. But when you're having guests over and all this stuff, in my household, politics and religion were off the table. They were off the table. And sometimes it would come up, and I would just sit there and watch the tennis match between my parents. And when it came to religion, and it's just kind of like, okay, are we done? Can we move on? Because it's just, sometimes you have to agree to disagree. And I know I focused a lot on religion, but I think it was from my own experience of, having a lot of my truth stifled because of my mom's beliefs. Way in the back on one of our topics was, let's see, where was it? Okay, I don't know where it was, but it talked about our limiting beliefs and letting go of inherited patterns and, here it was, destruction. This card indicates that a choice must be made. It asks you what needs to die today. And it doesn't mean don't die. Okay, you don't die. But I mean, what belief needs to not be in existence anymore? Maybe it is a limiting belief, an old inherited pattern, or a toxic relationship. So I think a lot of times we forget. And that was the destruction card. Because a lot of times we do ourselves a disservice by falling into those limited belief patterns or those old inherited patterns, because that's what we're taught, right? We're taught, and then we feel like we have to emulate every single thing about who, our upbringers were, whether it's our parents, grandparents, whoever your guardian is, and for me, it got a little confusing because, like I said, I grew up in a half household where, an atheist, agnostic / a Catholic. So it's kind of like, whoa, it was kind of mind blowing sometimes, like, one would be talking about this and the other was saying, yeah, but what else was happening in the world? And so it made you question a lot of things. It made you think about a lot of things. And, I'm sure that there are some people who would disagree with me. And there are some people who, I know some people who can be a little over the top and feel like they need to put me back in my place. And that's okay. That's who they are. And sometimes you just got to go with the flow and not say anything and just let them wear themselves out. But I think we should allow one another to just be who we are, who we're meant to be, to reclaim this power and to not put other people down if, they don't fall into your system of belief. And I don't care who you are. I don't care what you follow, whether you're one side or the other side. When you start telling people how to believe, when you start telling people what they should believe and that you're not welcome if you don't, or you're not going to do this, or you're not going to go here, we're wrong, because we don't know. We're not sure what's on the other side, right? Except from what people have told us. I have had an NDE before when I was little and had my heart surgery. I legit went to the other side. I know people are going to say, yeah, sure you did. You were like 3. How do you remember? Because I tell you, that was one of the most profound memories I've ever had in my life. And at 3 years old, you can't make that shit up because you're not conditioned to any of that yet. You're not conditioned to what the other side should be. You're not conditioned to what other people have gone through. You're not conditioned to, seeing all that. And it was 1976. Nobody really talked about that stuff back then, at least not openly. It'd be another 20 years before people felt comfortable really kind of opening up about their spiritual beliefs. But I saw it. And, that's my personal experience. If you want to know, you got to ask. So, and it didn't last long. Honest, I'm being honest when I say that. It didn't last long, but I will say this: it smelled like chocolate chip cookies. So for me, but again, I was 3. So yeah, it was peaceful. It was peaceful. There was no judgment. There was no bickering and fighting and anger. I remember even now, I'm getting chills. It was just so peaceful. But everybody has their own experience. Everybody has their own, belief. And we can't tread on each other's beliefs. Okay, we can't say, well, that's bullshit, and that's not true, and this and that. And, maybe some people like to argue with each other just because it's fun. And maybe some people love to debate, so it might be fun for them. But if somebody hasn't asked your opinion, keep it to yourself. All right, I don't care what your beliefs are. keep it to yourself. If somebody does ask, hey, but let's not pass judgment, okay? What is it? What is the saying in the Bible? The first person who has not sinned can cast the first stone. Yeah, we're all sinners, one way or the other, guys. There's nobody perfect walking around this world. You may feel like your badness is washed away, but it's still something that you've done. So let's try not to judge people. We've all made curious choices in our life, whether we think we have or not. Or choices that may not, whatever. But I do want to apologize for going a little sideways on this one, but I probably should have thought this one out a little more. So I might revisit it again on Monday with the next topic. We might just go back over it again Monday, but I really want people to understand, and I really want people to know that it's okay to follow your own path. It's okay to follow your own journey. It's okay to be curious, to question things. It's okay to, just dip your toe in something that just seems interesting to you. It may not last forever. Sometimes our interests are fleeting. It might seem interesting at the time, then you dip your toe and you're like, yeah, not for me. So just follow your path. Open yourself and open your mind to who you are. Reclaim your knowledge, reclaim your knowing, reclaim your soul wisdom. Bring to this table this beautiful alignment that you now have with yourself, because you did realign with something that was meant for you. Okay, so really quick, let's get to the I know, the Moonology Oracle cards, because today is a new moon in Virgo. All right, so the new moon, new moons are a time of manifestation. So if you have a prayer, an intention, or a manifestation, now's the time, because the moon is going to start waxing, which means that it's fulfillment. Your wish may not come true like that, but you have to put it out there and you have to believe it. A plant doesn't grow overnight, right? A tadpole doesn't become a frog overnight. A butterfly does not become, or a caterpillar does not become a butterfly overnight. It takes time. A tree doesn't get planted one day and the next day it's a tree. Unless, it's Jack and the Beanstalk. So, give it time, but put it out there and feed it. All right. Feed it and water it with love, trust, and believing. And if it is a prayer, then just say, hey, you know what? I trust you, God. I trust you, higher power. And give your guides, give your higher power some wiggle room. So remember, this or something better. All right. This or something better. Don't just stifle them and say, this is what I want. So, new moon in Virgo, a time to give rather than take. When this card comes up, it's time for you to take stock of your situation. Where are you and where do you want to go? The new moon energy of this card suggests a restart, and the Virgo energy suggests you make that restart a clever one that's simple and well organized. This kind of feels like reclamation, doesn't it? It does. Virgo also has a strong health aspect to it. So, if you've been unwell, this card suggests that your health is on the up. Yay! Virgo loves clean eating and alternative therapies, so add these into your routines now, however you've been feeling. So alternative therapies could be like meditation, it could be, for some people, it could be a massage, hypnosis, there's all kinds of different alternative therapies. So again, so add these into your routine now, however you've been feeling. If a situation is blocked at the moment, it could be that you're overanalyzing things or being too critical. Don't be judgy. It's time to ask less what someone else can do for you and to think more about what you can do for others. I admit I can be judgy when I'm on the road. Everyone's a bad driver but me. So, I know, and the people I know. I have to say that or else they're going to be like, hey. So, attune to the moon. Recommit to healthy morning and evening routines. So recommit to healthy morning and evening routines. So maybe you want to go walk or exercise or meditate, or just have alone time, quiet time, even in the shower, whether you're a morning shower or an evening shower, you can do meditations in there, believe it or not. You can wash the day off of you, or you can wash the previous day off of you whenever you choose to shower. I'm a night shower, but yeah, so these are things that you can do for yourself. Additional meanings for this card. Gradual improvements are coming. Yay! Pay attention to detail if you want success without being pedantic. Be of service to others, and love and money will follow. The person you're asking about is reliable. And the teaching. Virgo is the sign of health, service, and analysis. Its energy is precise and has a feel of the harvest about it. When this card comes up, it could be that a wonderful bounty is coming your way. However, the energy of the new moon in Virgo is usually about getting your life in order. So that's what you need to do at this time of the Virgo new moon and whenever else you pull this card. So if you feel like you're all over the place and a little bit of chaotic stuff happening, take a deep breath. All right. You can tell I was a little nervous doing this one because I'm talking like I'm on caffeine and I have not had caffeine. So I know I talk fast when I get nervous. I either go quiet or I talk fast. And it's bad enough because apparently Californians talk fast anyways. So I'm like in la 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 mode. I tell you. I know. I just need to take a deep breath, Shelly Marie. It's like, did you get some air in there? I'm surprised I didn't get the hiccups from all that stuff I was doing. So, all right. I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you for putting up with me, you guys. I was pretty nervous doing this topic because I feel like I didn't give it the service that it needed. So, like I said, I may recover it on Monday, and then we'll jump into our next card. So, I am going to do my TikTok version of this right after this. So, I'm probably going to have my head screwed on a little tighter this time and be less, traumatized from my own upbringing. And what my upbringing wasn't traumatizing. I'm just kidding. But, I was very stifled in a lot of my thinking and, the things that interested me. I was basically, no, slap on the hand. You don't do that. So now I'm really kind of understanding all this. I'm reclaiming my power. I'm reclaiming all my knowledge, my medicine, my wisdom, my soul wisdom. And I'm remembering who I am and who I'm supposed to be. And so I will probably have my shit more together on the TikTok version of this than I did here. But thank you for hanging in there. And I do hope that I was able to convey the message somehow. Because I think it's really important for us to not get stifled by limited belief patterns or inherited belief patterns. You have to do what's best for you and you have to do what's right for you. All right. So have a great, great day, everybody. Thank you so much. I'll see everybody back here tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time, Facebook Live. All lives are public under Shelly Marie Lucas. Tomorrow is Aloha Oracle Friday. So if that's not your jam, I will see you Monday for day number 25 and a recap of day number 24 of Body Mindfulness. Have a great, great weekend if I don't see you tomorrow, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you for watching.